We're on our 11th leg of this skate, almost to Central Park, uh, Bethesda Terrace. That's where we're heading. We're heading around the inner loop. This is more of a dark tour, so I kind of feel like this is the type of thing where if you've never been to Central Park, maybe I can give you a few details, but otherwise it's not going to be very entertaining. I'm not going to lie to you. If you want to skip this particular visual, you can, but I can give you some details because as we approach Bethesda Terrace, there's some pretty cool things to point out that have occurred. So we're on the east side of Central Park. To my right would be things like the Guggenheim and a number of other museums. There's actually one museum, I'm not going to tell you what it is, I'm going to make you Google it, that's actually within the park confines, not on the opposing street side. Begins with M-E-T. There's a couple other things that belong in Central Park that you wouldn't expect. There's a zoo on that lower, that upper, lower east side as we entered Central Park Zoo. There is an eatery, Tavern on the Green, which is right down near Bethesda. Actually, I'm at Bethesda now, and there's an ice skating rink at the far north side, on the west side. There's a couple other things, but on a whole, there's things here that you wouldn't expect to be here. So think of it right now, the way I just roped around, there's a mall to my left that I could have skated up across that mall and shortcutted across the middle, so to speak. But it's kind of gravelly. It is firm ground, but it's gravelly. To my right here, and I just was too tired to skate over there and look over it, but you'll see a couple skaters to my back right. You can either swing the camera around or just listen to me say this. But they're looking down at Bethesda Fountain, and that's where you would have seen scenes like in Iron Fist and Avengers. Can you tell I like my comic book superheroes? Number of other films, gosh, countless films have shot scenes down there. And just beyond Bethesda Fountain there is the lake. So if you're looking carefully, you see the blue light in the distance. That is the Empire State Building. So we're going to inevitably skate down towards the south here, or downtown direction. And I've often thought of that, downtown, uptown. What does it mean? Well, uptown obviously means up to the north, and down to me has always meant down to the south. But another interesting point of fact is that as you head north, I'm sure you've noticed with the skate, we kind of skate uphill more and more. So to me, you're skating up or walking up or driving up. You're actually going at a higher elevation as you go north as well. So to me, it means a higher elevation and it means north. This is great. This guy comes from Denmark and he skates with the group and everybody heckles. Well, okay, they're not really heckling. They're simply making the point that, well, Mike is making the point that they only have a couple thousand people in the whole town and they draw 100 people to skate. Here we are in New York City with millions and we're drawing less than 100. It just goes to show you how this recreational sport has just been battered over time and people do not understand it. I mean, what you need to try to understand as a viewer, and I'm assuming you're probably a skater, you're most likely to understand, but if let's say you're not, the fact is this skate is zero impact on the knees. This sport is much safer and healthier for you than running. I know that sounds odd, but it is. You don't beat up your legs, you don't risk a lot of potential surgery on the knees. And when I say zero impact on the knees, it's because as you're skating, you're pushing off your ankles, you're falling off your hips. You're not using your knees, and you're not suffering impact to the knees unless you fall on your knees. Having said that, most skaters learn how to fall and roll, as opposed to falling right down on your knee. And then should you fall on your knee, you would have skate pads on. All right, we're now working our way around the west side of the inner loop. To our left would be Sheep's Meadow. There were actual sheep out there at one time. They were removed. There was a debate as to whether or not they could stay or not. And I think this is kind of at the turn of the century, right after 1900 is when that took place. It wasn't as far back as you'd think. But as we're going to pass Tavern on the Green, I believe, over here to the right. That is accessible right from the road. So if you're walking down, I think it's, I want to say 4th Avenue, maybe? I'm sorry, 6th Avenue? You get the idea. It's going to come right down into Columbus Circle. Now, Central Park is used during the week. It's shut down on the weekends to traffic. So that's why you see an actual street light here in Central Park. Cars do drive in through here, but not at all times. There is, I believe, Tavern on the Green over there in that little gap. And up to the right here, past Tavern on the Green. Now you can see the lights for Tavern on the Green. But if you look ahead towards those buildings up ahead, that is going to be Columbus Circle up and to the right. Again, a lot of things have been filmed in Columbus Circle. But we're going to bear a little bit further to the left towards Trump Tower there. And we're going to come, I think we're going to come down 7th Avenue into into Midtown to Times Square. And that's where we'll end with these skates. You can hear some wind noise picking up. Gonna pass Ted. Am I gonna pass Ted? No, I'm not gonna pass Ted. Ted. No, I'm gonna pass Ted. It's the funny thing. I mean, these skates that I'm on, with my long strides, I could really blow past people. But I am just not as physically fit as I need to be. Oh, there's another one of my friends. I'm gonna leave her name out of this. She works at Whole Foods, though. Some people I kind of sense would be sensitive to having their names used, so I'm trying to be careful. I mean, she might not be, but I'm making a unilateral decision here. There's Jack to my right in the orange t-shirt, one of the people who's actually the original skaters of the Wednesday night skate. All right, that's it. Next part.